Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Hope you had a good Tuesday here, and tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so I want to wish everybody a good Christmas Eve, and I don't know if I'll be doing a video tomorrow, probably not, but just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas for tomorrow. Got some items here that I want to discuss. Okay, well, a letter was penned by Epstein to a fellow pedophile, which directly implicates Trump. And here's a quote from that letter that he wrote. Our president also shares our love of young nubile girls. Yeah, we know that already. Okay, it doesn't get much more damning than that. Among the latest documents begrudgingly released by the Justice Department is a letter allegedly sent to from Jeffrey Epstein, to fellow serial child rapist Larry Nassar, wherein he laments the fact that the two of them were languishing in prison while fellow pedophile Donald Trump lived large in the White House. Quote, as you know by now, I have taken the short route home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies at the hope they'd reach their full potential. Our president shares our love of young nubile girls. When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab, snatch. Whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system. Unquote. Just absolutely disgusting, heinously evil words. The slow drip ends now. Congress must compel the DOJ to release all remaining Epstein files immediately. Yeah, well, you know, it doesn't surprise me, okay, that this coming out, they found something here, which makes me, let's look at this on the reverse. The fact that that wasn't redacted, so we would have never seen that, is very disquieting, because if they were willing to release that little bit, okay, then what the hell are they redacting? Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about that. I mean, they're letting this kind of, which is sickening in itself already, but they're hiding stuff still, which they're saying is even more. You know, they're calling it national security. Okay, yeah, right. I'm sure it is. Yeah. No, they're hiding something bigger. They're hiding something bigger. And obviously that further elevates, you know, my theory that Trump is really got, you know, neck deep into sex trafficking with Epstein. And when you got a guy in our White House who was reported by people who witnessed this, him going into women's dressing rooms during these beauty pageants, and they were like naked in there. Okay, that ain't right. That's not right. You know, you don't do shit like that. I don't care how much money you got. You know, and then he's grabbing snatch, as they say. Well, you know what that is, okay? Like what he says, you grab by the pussy and you, okay. Yeah, so he helped himself to women in there, and, you know, he just, like I said, he's sick. He's obviously more than just a pedophile. Okay, he really is more than that. I think he could be a sex addict. You know, he could be, you know, he probably has other mental problems that contribute to these things. I don't know, but he's definitely dangerous, even at his age now. I mean, because at his age now, he's got more power than a man in his position should have. I mean, imagine Ted Bundy sitting in the White House. That's what we got here. We have a serial rapist, I mean, or a serial pedophile sitting in our White House, shielded from the law, shielded from the justice system. And, you know, I don't see how MAGA can sit, you know, comfortably with that. If they ever want to have their credibility strengthened, they need to cut ties to this man. But as long as they stay attached to Donald Trump, no one's going to ever listen to a fucking thing they say and say, oh yeah, we need to do what they're saying. Never, ever, never, ever. I mean, okay, you know, that's just it. You know, you have to be sick yourself in order to think that this guy is credible. All right? So that puts you in a very, you know, uncomfortable spotlight if you're still supporting Trump at this point, okay? That's really putting a very uncomfortable light on you. And frankly, I just don't see how you guys can sit comfortably in that, because if you think it's okay to be a pedophile, then, you know, what are you doing on your free time, you know? So yeah, this coming out here doesn't surprise me, and I'm sure there's a lot worse out there that maybe we'll see, maybe we won't see. I don't know. It all depends on, you know, how things shake down. But the fact is, this guy, Trump here, he is the worst of the worst amongst us in our society, and you know, we need to impress on our public here the need to punish people who commit these kind of crimes. If we don't do that, we set a precedent that, oh, you can get away with being a pedophile if you have a ton of money and you are the president of the United States. Okay? So when you say that, when you allow that to happen, you're actually contradicting the whole point of why we have laws in this country and why we try to protect our children and people from predators. Okay? It makes the whole thing seem like a big joke. Okay? Now, that's up to you, I guess, how you want to handle this. But I'm hoping that saner minds will prevail here and say this has got to stop. It has to stop now. Okay? We made a huge mistake last year, and a lot of people just didn't see it. Now they see it. Now they're seeing it, you know. This story here come out today. Trump announces a new class of battleship named after himself, of course. A friend of mine said that Trump is like a dog, okay? A dog leaves his mark everywhere he goes. He pisses on this, pisses on that. That's what Trump seems to be doing. He's like a dog pissing on everything to leave his mark. America's vainglorious nincompoop-in-chief, who famously, repeatedly, dodged military duty during the Vietnam War with a spurious case of bone spurs, made a big stink yesterday with the ridiculous announcement of his latest self-aggrandizing project, quote, Trump-class battleships, unquote. Navy Secretary John Phelan, reading from a script clearly written for an audience of one, said a forthcoming vessel dubbed the USS Defiant will be the, quote, the largest, deadliest, and most versatile and best-looking warship anywhere on the world's oceans, unquote. The MAGA cult leader claimed he would be involved in overseeing the design of the new battleships, quote, because I'm a very aesthetic person, unquote. Does this mean they'll be gold-plated? And will all the lip filler improve their buoyancy? Yeah. You know, I that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we had a a ship named after Ronald Reagan, which kind of made me puke, but all right, it's not really that big of a thing. It's true, you know, they kind of name ships after presidents, good or bad anyway. So, I mean, you know, if they want to name a ship after Donald Trump, okay, I would say you curse that ship. All right, anybody that gets duty to assigned to one of those fucking things, you're probably going to die in it, you know, because the ship will be, you know, jinxed with that name. It's almost like branding a ship the Titanic and setting it on sail. You know, it's like, you know, it'll go down just like the Titanic did. In this case, you know, any of these ships will go down just like Trump's going down right now. So I wouldn't I wouldn't want an assignment on one of them fucking things. All right, here in this story here, Bill Clinton spokesperson urges DOJ to release all remaining Epstein files. In a surprise twist, the office of Bill Clinton has called Trump's bluff and demanded that he release all the Epstein files, including all pictures of the former president. Quote, what the Department of Justice has released so far, and the manner in which it did so, makes one thing clear. Someone or something is being protected. We do not know whom, what, or why, but we do know this. We need no such protection, unquote, said Clinton's spokesperson. A bold move for a man who has popped up on uncomfortable number of times in the infamous files, to be sure, but it looks like the ball's in your court, Donald. Yeah, I mean, you know, if Donald hates the Democrats as much as he claims, but I think only one Democrat in particular, Barack Obama, okay, if he really does hate the Democrats so much, then he would take down as many of these Democrats as he could that he knows that had spent time around Epstein. But I don't think he can do that. I don't think he can do that because that would unleash other things that also include Trump. And his name is, from what's been released, figures prominently with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, the two were two peas in a pod. You know, I mean, they couldn't have been any closer. And so I think that, you know, I think, for one thing, I don't think they expect that Donald's going to ever release all the files, no matter how much MAGA or former MAGA people scream their head off to have him do it, so that way it would vindicate them for having defended Trump. But I think that, you know, Clinton probably feels like there isn't, you know, much that could come out about him that would really make him, you know, diminish him in any way. Okay, yeah, he probably got a few pictures with Epstein here and there. He might have gone to some of his parties, but other than that, you know, there may not be anything there that implicates him in any of the sex crimes. Okay, that's my guess anyway. Who knows? But they certainly know Trump isn't going to get rid of put out all the stuff. They know he won't. They know he won't. Trump is all bluff. He's a bunch of hot air, and he can hardly deliver on anything that he says he thinks he can. Okay, he might be able to shoot someone dead in the middle of Times Square, okay, and get away with it, but this, he's not willing to to test the waters. Okay, he's not going to let all this stuff come out because he knows that would be a risk not worth gambling on, because he would have to pay for that. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So I think that there are some things that Trump knows he can't get away with, and this is probably one of the reasons, or one of the things that he can't get away with. And what makes makes you think, what the fuck did he do that he thinks he can't get away with everything else that he's done, and still out of prison, you know, still skating outside of prison? What the hell did he do where he thinks that prison would suck him in behind bars? You know, think about that. I mean, that should turn the stomach of a lot of people who are loyalists, MAGA people of Trump. Make you think, you know, use your fucking mind. Think, you know, common sense tells you. You ever watch Columbo? Okay? It's common sense, a lot of it, that leads him to the truth. You know, paying attention, listening to what people say, their body language, okay? All that stuff is there. It can lead you to the truth. And, you know, I see a lot of it, okay? I see a lot of that with Trump and his actions and how he behaves, how he talks to people. Okay, this guy has a lot to hide. And he knows he's not liked right now. So he's under a lot of, well, he's sitting in a pot that's boiling, okay? And it's very uncomfortable. And all he wants to talk about is this fucking ballroom. And oh, let's name some aircraft carriers or boats after me or something. You know, he just wants to keep distracting, you know, like a circus clown. But he knows the number one thing on people's mind, you know, ain't all of that, okay, even though it's just ridiculous as it may be. They're only thinking about these crimes, okay, that are still, you know, like Jeffrey Epstein reaching out from the grave to pull Trump down in there with him. You know, people see that. And I can't see how anybody, you know, anybody that has any goodness in them could actually stand up for this guy, okay? You don't get forgiven for things just because you're a leader of a country. You pay your dues, okay? You do the time. You admit what you did, all right? But Trump can't do that. So that means he ain't even a man, okay? He's not a fucking man at all. He's just a mouse, you know, with a lot of money. But he's really a nobody. It's what he would have been if he hadn't been born into a wealthy family. Oh, well. U.S. sees surge in violence against journalists under Trump, report says. Gee, wonder if Donald's incessant, quote, enemy of the people, unquote, talk directed at journalists and reporters might be having a detrimental effect on the safety and well-being of members of the Fourth Estate. Couldn't possibly be a correlation, right? Well, yeah, he's, as far back as I can remember him talking when he was doing political, running for office or something like that, he always attacked the press. Fake news, all this, you know, and it's just, after a while, people that follow him and listen to him and his rants, they're going to start thinking the same thing about the press. And whenever somebody from the press says anything that's truthful, he's made it so that the companies that are running, or whoever they work for, okay, these journalists, they take flack from Trump. And he threatens to sue him. Remember how he was trying to do that? Okay, and they capitulate. They give him what he wants. Okay, and then they don't play the story. Well, he's done that so much now that people don't trust the press anymore, and they feel like they can openly attack them wherever they see them. So Trump, with his fucking mouth now, okay, what he started with his mouth. He created a movement in his base to simply shit on the media, okay, except for Fox News, of course. And sometimes Fox gets a little tongue lash in there from MAGA too, you know, because they're not always reporting the best things about Trump, even if they're lies, okay? They just, you know, they will attack. A lot of them, you know, they watch Newsmax or what some of these other right-wing outfits and stuff like that. But any agency out there that's reporting the truth about Trump is obviously going to be the number one person they're going to attack. And now CBS has one of their own, one of the MAGA people running that news outlet now, and so. I don't think that would have happened had it not been for the numbers of people out there who have been attacking the media, the journalists, with, you know, with Trump leading the attacks. Okay, I don't think that would have happened. So, yeah, Trump has managed to do a lot of damage here with you know, our news and the journalists and stuff like that. He really has. And so it's not surprising that the people who follow Trump are also following his lead on that too. So, you know, there's going to be problems. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Grandma can no longer pay for health care since she lost her health care subsidies. When she saw her premiums had doubled due to Donald Trump's new policies. You know she voted for that leopard, and now it's gone and ate her face. She only meant for other people to be deported, mostly based upon their race. Now she regrets the way she voted and things done on her behalf. But she would never vote Kamala because she didn't like the way that lady laughed. Grandma can no longer pay for health care since she lost her health care subsidies. When she saw her premiums had doubled, she realized she's in a monarchy. Now we're worried most for Grandpa, to keep him falling to despair. Just where will he get more Viagra? That's his chosen gender affirmation care. We'll be at war with Venezuela, and it frankly makes me ill. Trump says it's for drugs they're sending, but it was for the oil and not the fentanyl. Grandma can no longer pay for health care since she lost her health care subsidies. When she saw her premiums had doubled due to Donald Trump's new policies. Trump inherited big problems. Won't be till next year that they're fixed. Just marvel at his golden ballroom, but I'm afraid your healthcare must be nixed. For now, just keep the Christmas spirit and celebrate the birth of Christ. We might afford it all depending on how many immigrants we sacrifice.
Jesus Christ!
Grandma can no longer pay for health care since she lost her health care subsidies. When she saw her premiums had doubled, she realized she's in a monarchy.
Sing it, you dictator!
Grandma can no longer pay for health care since she lost her health care subsidies. When she saw her premiums had doubled due to Donald Trump's new policies. Merry Christmas, and don't get sick.
Welcome to the show. I have a fun story to share because if you guys want to see proof that Donald Trump is absolutely losing his mojo, losing his base, all you need to do is look at his rallies, right? Because we all know only the most diehard Kool-Aid drinkers are going to come out in mass to support him. Well, last Friday, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Trump had a rally. This was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and the crowd was absolutely anemic. Take a look at this report. So the Washington Post covered the event, and they wrote, quote, "The crowd was smaller than the rallies Trump typically drew on the campaign trail, which he often touted as a measure of his popularity. Outside, a man hawking Trump merchandise was struggling to find takers for MAGA beanies, even after dropping the price to $5. I don't have $5, replied Thomas Schaefer, 18, not in his wallet and not in his bank account. We're really broke. It's Christmas time, man. That's apparently what he said when the vendor hit him up to try to sell him something. So the Post then also spoke with a vendor who was there. It's a guy named Guy Harper. And he's apparently traveled around the country for the past 8 years selling Trump merchandise at his rallies. Well, on Friday, Harper told them, or not told them, they saw him packing up all of his stuff before the rally even started because there were so few people there. And the article said, quote, "Look at this," Harper said, gesturing at a street devoid of crowds or lines of cars waiting to park. "Usually, Trump rallies are like a football tailgate. This is strange." Harper chalked it up to a late start time, 9 p.m. on the Friday before Christmas, but speculated that people being skeptical about the economy could be playing a role. Gee, you think? You think people might be a little bit upset about the economy? And then the Post also mentioned that Trump brought up MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, at the rally, and he used his new nickname for her. He called her Marjorie Trader Greene. Then he kind of like, well, I don't know. I was calling her Marjorie Trader Brown, but then people said you can't do that because it's 2 words you're changing and it doesn't make sense and blah, blah. I mean, he had this whole thing about it. Well, the crowd barely reacted. I mean, I'm sure he thought he was going to get applause and people were going to cheer for him and, yeah, get rid of her, and, and all that shit, lock her up. Nope, barely a response. So, yeah, I mean, it just really seems like his time is almost up and in more ways than one. So anyway, guys, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And yeah, that's your Christmas gift right there.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back, my friends. Got a story here from the Daily Beast, written by Cameron Adams. It's entitled Melania Vanity Documentary Lands Perfect Premiere Location. Melania, Amazon's $40 million Melania Trump Vanity documentary has found the perfect location for its red carpet premiere. The project will be launched at the newly rebranded the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Excuse me here. What the hell is this? I ain't watching that damn movie. Jesus. Hold on a second. for the performing arts, according to the Hollywood Reporter. While no date for the MAGA movie extravaganza has been set, the documentary will hit cinemas worldwide on January 30th of next year, before streaming on Amazon Prime, which I won't be watching that. The Daily Beast has contacted Amazon for comment. A trailer for the documentary was released last week, leading to fawning comments from MAGA players, including White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who posted on X, quote, "I'm so excited for this," unquote. In a statement released by Amazon, Melania said the documentary is, quote, "a private, unfiltered look as I navigate family business and philanthropy on my remarkable journey to becoming the First Lady of the United States of America," unquote. In unfortunate timing, the documentary's director, Brett Ratner, appeared in the latest release of photos from the Epstein files. He was photographed with the late French model agent and Epstein associate Jean-Luc Brunel. The late Epstein victim, Virginia Guffrey, said in a lawsuit that she had sex with Brunel as a minor on several occasions. Rush Hour director Ratner's own Hollywood career stalled after he was accused of sexual assault and harassment by multiple women, including actress Olivia Munn and Natasha Henstridge. Ratner has denied the claims after the release of the trailer. The View co-host Joy Behar quipped that Ratner was the perfect choice for the documentary. Quote, "If he had somebody direct it who didn't have a record in some kind of sexual assault, I'd be surprised," unquote, she said. Quote, "I mean, this tracks," unquote. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. I mean, is there anybody that Trump family knows that isn't fucking tied into some perversion? Jesus. I mean, they can't even do a simple documentary without somebody associated with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, God almighty, the fucking breadcrumbs. I mean, this is a guy, it's like, Trump is a man who's like gone to dinner, ate like a hog, and left crumbs all over the fucking place, then goes out and people ask him, "Did you just have dinner?" And he's, "No, I wasn't just eating." Okay, this guy, he leaves a trail of shit all the way back, and he tries to deny that anything is there, and it's like, come on. People are I mean, Hollywood, I think, would know a lot more about Trump than even the press does. I mean, because, there are a lot of secrets in Hollywood stay secretive until something forces it out out of the closet. And since, Trump has had a lot of dealings in Hollywood and stuff like that, in the entertainment industry, I should say, he's probably got his hands in a lot of pies over there, and done a lot of dirt over there, too. So, I think, it's kind of funny in a way because, you see, for years, Republicans hated Hollywood. They really have. I mean, even though they'll watch TV shows and stuff like that, they always hated Hollywood because of their liberal views. At a time when there were a lot of conservatives that were the heads of industries in Hollywood, okay? That's why there was so much sexual harassment and stuff going on over there. You had a lot of fucking Republicans, okay, running things over there. And it's all about making money. Now, the stories that were made into movies and stuff might have had liberal tones, but that didn't mean that Hollywood was a bastion of a Democratic Party. No. It's like a purple town, Hollywood, at least back then when Trump was, meddling with it and stuff, okay? It was a purple town. And in some areas of it, it's still red. Okay, so like I said, it's kind of a falsity to generalize Hollywood as a liberal town, okay? Because it isn't really. The people that run things in that town are not Democratic in any way, okay? They're just not. All right, now hold on to your socks for this story here. This is from Mediaite, written by Ahmad Austin Jr. Entitled, "Holocaust Denial Hoodie Calls Pregnant Women a Fat Effin' Jew at Turning Point USA's America Fest." Boy. A highly controversial far-right podcaster was recorded on video calling a pregnant woman a, quote, fat effing Jew, unquote. They wouldn't say it, just spell it out that way. While wearing a hoodie mocking Holocaust victims at a Turning Point USA event. The incident occurred outside of America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona over the weekend. In the video posted online, Amrau Fuddle, known by his stage name Myron Gaines, was confronted by a group of people outside the venue. Someone in the group asked Fuddle about a potential debate with social media influencer Destiny and another person named Adam. A confused Fuddle then said, quote, "You already fucked that up," unquote. When someone said something back, Fuddle then responded, quote, "Oh, I fucked it up now," unquote. Then video then skipped to a different point in the exchange. It's unknown what the group said prior, but Fuddle suddenly pointed to a woman off screen and said, quote, "This girl's a fat fucking Jew," unquote, before walking away. Fuddle was also wearing a hoodie depicting Sesame Street's Cookie Monster standing behind an oven. Above the image was text that read, quote, "Let 'em cook," unquote. Yeah, I see this picture of him. I don't even know if that's going to show up here, but yeah. This is the guy. You can see the blue on his sweatshirt. That's Cookie Monster. Yeah. Earlier in the year, Fuddle, the host of the Fresh and Fit podcast, came under fire over a viral clip from his show. In the clip, guests on the show suggested that the Holocaust was justified and that Jews, quote, were up to something, so the Germans wanted to take them out, unquote. Ooh, that sounds like logical reasoning. Oh, they were up to something. First, they can't even prove what the something was, and then they say, well, the Germans were okay to murder them. Convoluted reasoning, if you ask me. The Fresh and Fit podcast has nearly 1.6 million followers on YouTube. Oh, that's wonderful. 1.6 million assholes in this country, where it has been demonized in the past, and some 372,000 followers on Rumble. Jesus. You know, it's one thing to point out when people are wrong, okay? You know, when they say nasty things like that. But it's certainly disquieting when you find out just how many people follow a person that says nasty shit like that, isn't it? I mean, it really does set you back. That because you see that this guy's a friggin' racist pig, but there's a million other people out there plus who don't see it that way, and you have to wonder, how can I be on this side of the fucking line and they can be so firmly entrenched on the other side? Why does this happen? Why can't they see what I'm seeing here? Okay? And I'm sure they probably ask the same question about people like me. Why can't they see, why we hate them? Hate gets you nothing. You can't generalize. I said this in the last video about generalizing people. When you do that, okay, it's like gambling against yourself. I mean, you cannot fucking generalize a whole group of people based on one person you may or may not know, or what somebody else told you that may or may not be true. How these people come to the incredible hatred they have for a group of people doesn't have much reasoning, because a lot of these people probably never met a Jew in the first place. But yet they hate their guts no matter what. Just like hearing the last name sends chills up their back. Why? You know? I bet you never even met one. You never sat down and talked with one. You know? And I think that it's really sad that people can hang such a heavy weight on something like that and just think that they're right by being racist and bigoted like that. I mean, it's just taught behavior. It must be. It has to be ingrained in them at a very young and impressionable age. You know, when they were growing up, to hate these people. They must have had parents that were just as hateful as you could imagine. Okay? And so they bring forth more of the hate. They breed hate in their kids, and they go out in public and they go in society and they continue the hatred. I mean, isn't that sort of the same thing that goes on like in Israel and the Palestinians, how much they hate each other? And probably a lot of them don't even know exactly why, you know, but they're supposed to hate them. They're told to hate them. You will hate them, you know. So, you know, hatred is an easy thing for others to pick up as a cause, I guess. You know, and I don't understand how, you know, in our world where we, you know, we have history, we have documentaries, we have all kinds of stuff out there to show us how hate leads to such terrible tragedies, how it doesn't sink in with people, you know. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand humanity. I'm 54 years old and I'm still trying to understand how people can make such choices and do such things, because to my way of thinking, that's childish. You know, that's very childish. It's not mature at all. And when people talk about how when you get older, you know, you mature and stuff like that, I don't think it's really that easy. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think age has anything to do with mature. I don't, you know, when they say about how women mature quicker than men, I don't think that's the case. I really don't think maturity has a whole lot to do with growing up. I think what it is that people, through the process of living, pick up habits, pick up beliefs, and they stick to them even to their old age. There's no maturity in that, okay? Because a person who is mature would challenge those notions and as they go through life to find out if they're true or not. You know? You don't like a Jew? Fine. Go find one and talk to them. Talk to them and find out, okay, if these are people that you really should hate to your bone. Talk to them. If you can't, then your fear of finding out that you're wrong is what's holding you back. Which means you, and somewhere inside, you know you're wrong by being a racist. You know this. Because otherwise, you'd have no problem confronting these people and finding out for yourself whether or not these people are what you think they are. You know, I mean, just think about that for a minute. You're walking around with preconceived notions that you've never challenged your whole life. That makes you immature. Because you don't have the courage or the moral fortitude to test those theories. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. People that go off to war, a lot of people that join the military were racist. I saw racism in the Air Force when I was in there. Okay? But I'll tell you something. When people of different colors come together, work, sweat, bleed together in trying times, all of a sudden those barriers are gone and people start to look at each other as equals. Okay? And then when they come out, a lot of their preconceived notions they had when they joined the service, well, they don't hold so much weight anymore. Okay? That's maturing. That's how you mature. Okay, of course, the military forces these people to confront their preconceived notions about each other. You know, when you're in war, you got to work with the other person, whether you like them or not. And because you do, eventually you communicate with each other, you talk, you start to, you know, spend time with them. After a while, you forget about why you hated them in the first place. You see them as the person named whoever, okay? And that's the way you're supposed to be as a person, as a mature person. You're supposed to take each person, you know, as they are. You just don't say, that's a Jew, stay the hell away from that. You know, or that's a black guy, stay the hell away from him. Okay, no. Instead of that's a Jew, that's Joseph. Or if it's a black guy, that's Kenneth. Okay? And you guys, you just talk. Before you know it, you don't see that the guy's any different than you. You both got the same issues. You both got the same problems, the same dreams, goals, whatever that you want to do. After a while, you say, you know what, there isn't a whole lot of difference between us other than our skin color or our names. Okay? There's no point in being that way. Because when you take that attitude to work, you find yourself having a hard time doing your job. And in the military, when you can't do your job because you don't like the people around you, the military sees that and you have a hard time. You don't make rank easy, and a lot of people don't want to be around you because you're not a team player. Okay? People that are racist aren't team players. They're individualists is what they are. And these folks, they have a hard time being around people. They got a social problem. You know, a lot of these folks do. They have social problems, and the reason being is because they're so bigoted about so many different things. And that makes it hard for them to work amongst all the diversity that's around them in the military. So if you go into the service with notions like that, unless you find like-minded individuals like other racists, okay, you're going to have a difficult time trying to work side by side with somebody you were taught to hate. And, you know, that's just the way it is, you know. I mean, like I said, challenges bring people together. Just like after 9/11, a lot of you people weren't around when 9/11 happened, but I remember very well how this country felt after 9/11 and how people came together very quickly over that. People wanted to do anything that they possibly could to help out what went on down there. It's the first, that's my introduction to the real American spirit. Okay? Because that was like a glimmer of what it was probably like during World War II when this country felt they had to go and do what they did to stop the war. Everybody came together, pulled together, their resources, everything for something good, to stop the tyranny that was spreading across Europe. Okay, they felt they had to do something like that. So in my time, we had Desert Storm, we had all these other things, which also got people in this country united for a cause. But that's, like I said, 9/11 was, one of those things that really, as far as being in the civilian side of things, you could see it, how people, were turning out in droves to the Red Cross and are donating blood. Matter of fact, they were getting so much blood from they said they didn't have any room to store it all because they were getting donations of blood from all over the country for the, the injured in New York during that mess there. So, I mean, it just, that's what it is, when you're going through trying times. And that's when people stop looking at you for who, what your name is or what your skin color is. They start to look at you as a person, as an American, okay? And they don't care anymore about the differences. They put all that aside. And, it was a nice thing to see, a nice thing to live through. But it dried up fast, and I'll tell you, I miss it because that was really the proudest moment, that I can think of to be an American then, was that for fucking once, we were doing something, all of us, across party lines, together, for something noble, something good, So, okay, anyway, that's it for today, so I hope everybody has a great holiday coming up. We have Christmas right around the corner here, literally. So subscribe, comment, share, keep your ears open for health-related issues. And, treat each other well out there, even after Christmas. Keep the morale high. People need that right now. I can sense it out there when I go places and stuff. People are just really beaten down from months and months of Trump-related crap. A lot of people say, I ain't watching the news anymore because they're sick of the bad news. So people need to have their spirits lifted here, and this is the time to do it. So try to do it, you know? Try and do it. You'd be surprised. You'll get back what you give out. So I'll talk to you guys later. Merry Christmas. Take care, everybody.